Please vote. This is an important election. We have an open seat for our congressional member. It's a very important election. Unfortunately, the turnout is not showing that it's important, so I hope that changes throughout the week for early voting and then on Election Day.
Flagler County Supervisor of Elections Katie Lenhart talking about the ongoing special primary election.
Early voting for the January 28th special primary election for Congressional District 6 began Saturday, January 18th, and continues each day this week through the 25th. The special primary election was called to replace three-term U.S. Representative Michael Waltz, who's been selected by President Trump to be National Security Advisor. Waltz resigned his seat effective January 20th. So far, Leonard says the turnout is slim.
Sitting right at about 5.8% turnout. So that's not great turnout, but the good news is there's no lines if you go vote during early voting, probably at any time. There's a lot of downtime in between voters for our workers.
The special election was Congressional District 6 and includes all of Flagler and Putnam counties and portions of Volusia, Lake, Marion, and St. Johns counties.
The hours are 10 to 6. We only have 2 locations open because of the expected low turnout. So you can vote early at the Flagler County Public Library in Palm Coast or at our office, the Supervisor of Elections office in Bedell. And the hours are 10 to 6 every day. The last day to vote early is Saturday, January 25th.
3 Republicans and 2 Democrats are vying for the seat, with the special general election being held April 1st.
Election Day is Tuesday, January 28th, and polling hours are 7 to 7. We do have quite a few polling site changes because of the school schedule. We sent out notices to every household in the county that's affected.
For Flagler's Local Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Tuesday, January 21st.
We are a working class community. We do not live in an HOA. Palm Coast is not a deed-restricted community. We are not an HOA.
Palm Coast Mayor Mike Norris says he'll work to grow Palm Coast, but not at the expense of our quality of life.
The issue of work vehicles in neighborhoods, a topic of discussion on the Friday Free-for-All, and something as a small business owner, Mayor Norris knows well.
I don't think, like a Mike Morello truck. I had a neighbor when I was over in the B section.
That's the AC company in town.
Yeah. And we had an AT&T guy with a van with a ladder on it, and I had a ladder rack on my truck because I'm a painter. But I would take my ladders down and I'd stick them beside my house, and I'd take my magnets off my truck. But he stopped me one day and he said, "Hey, Mike," he's like, "do you have any trouble with people calling on you?" I'm like, "No one calls the city on me." I insulated myself because I do pressure washing too. So all my neighbors, I would pressure wash their driveways for $50. Nobody's calling the city on Mike Norris if he's providing a service to our community. But it's your neighbors. Usually if you have a problem with code enforcement, it's because your neighbor called on you.
Norris said he plans to empower the city's code enforcement department.
Our code enforcement is pretty passive, and it's call-centric. So if someone calls with a complaint, they're going to come and they're going to police that street for whatever the discrepancy is, and they're going to police every single resident on that street. So if you left your trash can out too late or you didn't take it in, they're going to come down and they're going to cite every one of those because and we're going to work towards more active, proactive enforcement on code enforcement.
Tomorrow we'll continue the discussion with word from Palm Coast's fire chief. From the WNZF newsroom, I'm Daryl Newton.
This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you. In other news, the first Flagler County School Board meeting of the year culminated with a lot of positivity as the schools enter 2025.
Board member Lauren Ramirez had some glowing comments about the local community.
I like to say it's been really awesome with all the activity, with all the campuses, faculty, all the involvement, and everything that I've heard from everyone, like parents, community members, people emailing and just calling like random strangers. They feel really loved in Flagler, so it's been pretty neat. So, and even our tech team, I have to give a shout out. I don't think you can hear. They're all at the schools after hours, and I don't think people realize that. I didn't realize that.
District 3 Representative Janie Ruddy had this to add.
I would just like to brag about Flagler County a little bit. I don't know if you guys saw in the news, but Seminole County is in the news because they're ramping up a fire and EMT preparation program in association with their school districts. So sounds like we're, having some influence there.
From the WNZF newsroom, I'm John Austin IV.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.